I'm live. Ooh, what's up, y'all? John Melton coming to you live for the second time today with mylifestyleacademy.com. And I'm fired up. I'm excited. I hope you're fired up and excited. I'd highly recommend you share this with anybody on your team, anybody in network marketing, because we're going to get down and dirty with Mr. Brian Fryer today, y'all. Coach Fryer, a.k.a. Coach Fryer. And I'm just really excited because every time Brian and I get together and do a video, which is probably like a couple times a year, Brian, maybe once or twice a year, we get together and we're always bringing the goods. So if you're serious about your network marketing business and maybe you're stuck, maybe you're at a plateau in your business, maybe you're a little frustrated because you're not recruiting or selling or rank advancing like everybody else in your company, what appears to be everybody else, right? Sometimes it seems like everybody else is winning when that's never the case. But we're going to give you some tips. We're going to give you some advice. We're going to talk about impact, right, Brian? So I'm really excited. If you don't know Brian, he was an individual inside the network marketing profession, just like all of us, that was very successful, but got to a point where he said, you know what? I want to go in a different direction. I love what I do, but I love coaching even more. I love helping people. And he's become one of the top coaches, one of the top trainers in the network marketing space. You know, he actually coaches some of the leaders within my organization. And I know he does make an impact on the profession, but he does a great job of teaching people how to do this the right way. How many of us want to build a business without being annoying, without being in the NFL, the no friends left situation, right? A lot of people are in that situation. A lot of people get involved. They get excited and then they burn through their warm market. They burn themselves out. They're constantly chasing the shiny ball, right? They're trying this strategy and then that strategy. They're going to go, viral on TikTok, and then they're going to start a podcast. Then they're going to do this and they're going to do that. When they don't really just look in the mirror and say, you know what? I need to work on myself. I need to develop the skills and the mindset to be a professional network marketer. Right? It's not about the latest strategy. It's not about the hottest social media platform. It's not about getting in a company at the right time and getting lucky. No, it's about developing real skills. And Brian is one of the best when it comes to teaching networkers. So take notes, buckle up, definitely share this with anybody you know in the network marketing space. I'm going to deliver my stuff. He's going to deliver his stuff. We're just going to bounce off of each other and have a good time. So Brian Fryer, Coach Fryer in the house. Brian, we'd love for you to introduce yourself to everyone first, and then we can get into some good stuff for everyone.
For sure. And the crowd goes wild. I can hear them. I'm looking down. I see the comments over here. People are going nuts. John, first and foremost, man, thanks so much for the opportunity to jump on here with you guys. I just think the world of you and Nadia, your guys' family. And I want to give you guys a quick shout out to, we don't say numbers, but let's just talk about a very, very nice month, last month, I believe. So can I give you guys just a virtual fist bump real quick before we even dig in? Congrats to you guys. I mean, you guys are on fire, setting the pace and just leading by example, man. So congrats, and super proud of you guys and honored to call you guys friends. And I'm excited for today's interview. Appreciate the kind intro. We're going to share some, so we always drop some wisdom, no matter where we're at, dude, whether we're remote at an event, whether you're in Maryland, I'm in Indiana, dual lives, whatever, we're always dropping nuggets. But excited to be here, man. My quick rap story, I guess, for those who maybe don't know who I am. Brian Fryer. Hi, how's it going? What's up? Most know me as Coach Fryer, born and raised Southern California. Had a lifelong dream of playing professional baseball, actually. Back in 2004, was fortunate enough to get drafted by the San Diego Padres. Played 8 years of pro ball. Whoop, whoop. I know Dylan's crushing ball, by the way, too, right? So big ups to Dylan over there, man. But I always say two really cool things happened during my baseball career. Number one, I was introduced to my now wife, Danny. We've got 4 amazing kids and now live in the Midwest. The second really cool thing that happened was I was introduced to the network marketing profession. I unfortunately had a back injury. Someone introduced me to a product. I had tried acupuncture, massages, chiropractors, and everything to try to fix my back. Nothing worked. This product did. And the rest is history, man. I learned a little later that I could make some money referring it to other folks, and the rest is history. Unfortunately, the first 4 years of network marketing, though, man, we didn't make a single dollar in profit. I don't know if anybody else on here can relate to that. Maybe you've been in a day or a week and people are like, this doesn't work. It's a whatever, right? Well, try 4 years. 4 years we didn't make any profit. Most people thought we were crazy and asked us why we kept sticking with it. And a little inspiration for those listening. If we stuck with it, I know you guys can too. You got to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I knew that network marketing worked. I just had to figure out how to work it, right? So after 4 years, that company unfortunately went away. Spent the next couple of years investing in some programs, mentorship, coaching, and really learning this whole online space. This was about 9 years ago. Another opportunity fell in our lap, and we quickly became the number 4 earners in that company, built 100% online. And we're just so grateful for that opportunity. Impacted lots and lots of folks. We had similar beliefs to what you guys do, man. We led with generic value, education, inspiration, wisdom. I mean, we weren't out there hawking and selling products on our Facebook profiles. That's not what we were doing. And so it yielded great results, helped a lot of people. Unfortunately, after 3 years, that went away. And I was getting phone calls, emails, texts from leaders all over the world saying, can you teach me what you just did? More importantly, can you help my team? And here we are 5.5 years later in the generic space, not involved in any company, and just grateful to serve entrepreneurs, man. Fired up to be here.
Well, it's pretty cool too, because I remember we met at, I think it was a Ray Higdon event like 5 years ago. And again, right, we were wanting to develop our brand, right, build a personal brand, make an impact. And, I think you're a lot like us when it comes to, the philosophy of social selling and building a business online the right way. Because, like you, I didn't make money in my early years in network marketing, but I learned a lot. That's how I cut my teeth when it comes to, sales and entrepreneurship, and really, learning how to be a leader, how to be an entrepreneur, be a business person. And back then things were tough because we didn't have the ability to just meet humans all over the world, right? You had to go out there and physically shake hands and sit down with people and call people on the phone and send out text messages and do a lot of three-way calls. And I was like, man, there's got to be a better way to do this. And, I think we're all thankful for social media, right? Each and every one of you that are watching this video right now, you're either watching on Twitter, you're watching on YouTube, or you're watching on Facebook, or it's a podcast that you're listening to, because we always repurpose our videos and turn them into podcasts. So, the fact that we have technology like we do today and that we can communicate with anyone, anywhere in the world is awesome. But how do you stand out, right? How do you stand out so that people buy from you versus some other network marketer versus some other network marketer in your company, right? And it's a matter of you making a difference, you making an impact where people look at you as a positive light in their life, a person that inspires them, entertains them, a person that, teaches them something that maybe they relate to your story, right? And that's why it's always important to get really good at sharing your story and getting vulnerable and being transparent with, your background and your experiences. I remember when I first started telling people about, building my business, offline and the struggle of like being out every night and on the phone 24/7, and how many people were just like, dude, I can relate. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Like, they wanted to build their business. I think all of us love the concept of network marketing, but they just wanted to be smarter, right? They wanted to show up differently. They didn't want to have to constantly like chase people and beg their friends and family and annoy people to try to find someone that's actually open to doing exactly what they're doing, which is, begging, chasing, and spamming friends and family. Like, can I find anyone else that wants to be annoying like me? Like, probably not easy to find people like that. But if we can teach people how to market the right way, we could teach people how to truly build a business and not treat it like a hobby, then things can change for the better. So, Brian, maybe you could talk about this formula. I know you wanted to talk about your impact formula. Is that what you call it? The impact formula? Is that how to say it?
Yeah, it's a crazy new acronym I came up with, man.
I love it. Yeah, I'm excited about it. I love how you broke it down. So I would love for you to share that with everybody today, because I think there's so many networkers that, again, they get in, they get excited, right? Their ignorance on fire, which is better than knowledge on ice, I always say.
So good.
But at some point, they tap out of their warm market. At some point, after, let's say, 90 days, maybe 6 months, at some point, things plateau, right? For some of us, we get started and it's like, we struggle to even get that first customer, that first person. So it's how do we stand out? How do we make a difference? How do we do things the right way to build a long-term business? Because the one thing, and I was just talking to a friend of mine from high school, because she just got involved in network marketing. And it's interesting because, she knew me back when I first started 19 years ago, right? And I told her the hardest part was for me to keep showing up when I wasn't getting results, when everybody that I talked to would say no, right? So many no's, so much rejection. And then it wasn't just rejection, Brian. I bet you can relate to this. It was literally people saying no, and you shouldn't do it either, John. Like, that's not a good idea. And by the way, they weren't wrong. The first company I was in got shut down. So they weren't wrong. But the point is, I kept going, I kept showing up. And, when you think long term, when you think about 5 to 10 years from now, and you making what you make, let's say what you make right now in a year, let's say 5 years from now, you make that in a month. How many of us are like already starting to dream and think a little bigger when you're like, damn, man, I make this per year. If I make that per month, like, oh, that would be all right, right? You're making it rain. But the truth is, 3 years, 5 years, that's not a long time. But when you're in the thick of it, it's hard to see the forest through the trees. It's hard to think long term. It's hard to imagine making that kind of money when you're spending more than you're making in the beginning, right? And you talked about that, Brian. You didn't make a profit for the first 4 years, but the key to success is you kept going anyway. So again, maybe you can talk about that impact formula. I know everybody's going to get a lot of value from that.
Faux show, man. Love it how you just broke that all down. You guys, show John some love, man. Drop this guy some hearts down below. Do something. Get wild. Get crazy. John, I know for sure that the more interaction, engagement you get, and I get on our videos, the more we tend to reveal. I mean, that's typically how we roll, right? So,
smash that heart button, y'all.
Let's do it. Pound the pavement. Well, I'm just curious. I want to ask the audience, live or replay. I mean, how many of you guys are facing a challenge right now? How many of you guys are facing an obstacle? Something's not going your way in your business. You're trying, but you're just struggling with something, right? Something's holding you back. Something is keeping you from going to the next rank, the next level, getting the next customer, whatever that might be, right? Here's what I believe, man, is we all, every single day, each and every one of us, John, you included, right? Me and you, we face challenges every single day. But at the end of the day, I know my motto, and you guys have a similar motto, is you want to help make an impact in the lives of other folks. We understand that if we learn to help and serve others, right? So we're professional problem solvers. If we learn to help solve the problems of others, right? All of our blessings and dreams, all that stuff will all come true, right? Okay, but here's the problem. Is we all face challenges and obstacles along our own journeys. So I've been all about this word impact, man, for several years now. And I recently came up with this acronym for the word impact. So for those of you watching, write the word impact in the comment section. And then I want you to write the words that I came up with that define impact, right? So impact to me stands for I'm moving past all challenges today. Everybody wants to make money. Everybody wants to make an impact, but they're not willing, John, a lot of folks out there, they're not willing to get past these small hurdles, these small obstacles, these small challenges. And by golly, I'm just sitting here thinking of the amount of money these folks could make and the impact that they truly could make if they'll make the decision to move past these challenges. So everybody's going nuts, writing it in the comment section. I'll say it again. I'm moving past all challenges today. When you make that decision to move past the obstacle or challenge you're currently facing, on the other side of you making that decision and pushing through is you making an impact not only in your own life, but potentially in the life of another person. Imagine, John, I know you got a similar story as well, but imagine if I chose not to move forward after 4 years of struggling. Right. The tens of thousands of folks we've been able to impact now that would not have been impacted, right? You guys have similar. You guys have been impacted probably hundreds of thousands. So many obstacles, so many challenges. What if you guys decided not to move past those challenges? Think about all the folks that you guys have been able to bless with your products, with your wisdom and coaching and training and the business opportunity, right? It starts to put things into perspective. What do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, it's actually kind of crazy when you look back and you think about how you're, sitting in the seats, praying that this is going to work. You're taking notes, you're grinding, you're calling people, you're doing all the things. And you're just not, you're like you said, man, you're not really seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. You're like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if I'm cut out for this. You start getting compare-itis. Right? Compare-itis is the thief of joy. You start comparing yourself to other people and you get real frustrated because it's hard to think about 5-10 years from now when you have already been involved for 5 months or 5 weeks, 10 weeks, whatever, and you've spent more than you've made, right? It's like I can't even imagine what 5 to 10 years looks like, because I can't even get results in the first 5 days, 5 months, 5 weeks, whatever it is. And I remember, I mean, even after I was on the phone with Nikki earlier, and I was telling her, I was like, even the first like 10 years, like most of the people I worked with are not with me today. Like, think about that. Like, it's crazy how many people we come across that are not meant to be in our life long term. They're not meant to work with us. They're not meant, like, maybe they order a product and they never order again, right? Maybe they're in your downline today, but in a couple months they're going to move on to something else. But it's okay, because you're just constantly working on yourself and you're learning lessons along the way and improving. Now, you don't, again, when you're in the thick of it, you're not thinking about like, man, I'm getting better every day. I'm working on myself. It doesn't matter if I haven't made a profit for 4 years, right? Because you know that later on, all the skills that you're developing are going to help you out. You're not thinking about that. But that's the key to success in business. And, I shared this Mark Cuban quote earlier today where he talked about how I think he started like 10 or 11 businesses before he finally became a multimillionaire. And, those first 5 businesses, 7 businesses, he was probably thinking, man, I don't know about this entrepreneurial stuff. Maybe I should just go get a job and go work for somebody else. But he kept doing the do. And his 11th business, I think it was the business that he sold for like millions and millions of dollars, became a multimillionaire and eventually a billionaire.
So
and
crazy.
he goes, the good news is you only have to do it once. He goes, some of us have to do it twice. But that's the truth, right? And it's the person you become along the way, right? All those lessons, all that experience makes you the leader that you need to be to deserve the success you desire. So anyway.
Amen. Amen. I'll just piggyback off of that, man. I think that so many are so nearsighted. They're only focused on what's going on right here, right in front of them today. They don't have that longer term type of vision. Another way to spin the word impact, or the I'm moving past all challenges today, acronym, is if we make that choice, guys, if we make the choice to move past the challenges, the obstacles that you're facing today, you're not only going to overcome them, you're not only going to break through, but what have you. But what you might not realize is that in a month, in 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever, that's actually going to become part of your story. You see, the challenges that I faced of my first 4 years, not having any results, not making any money, like that was 9, 10 years ago. Little did I know that, all these years later, that would be such a critical part of my story that so many have heard now and actually can relate to. How many of you guys are just nodding your head saying, oh my gosh, Coach Fryer, it sounds just like me. I've been in network marketing for a month, 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years, still trying to find my way, still trying to figure out. This actually gives me hope again. It's inspiring me again, but it's because I made the decision to move past my challenges back then, get out of my own way, right? And not be negligent to seeking mentorship and stuff from folks like the Meltons. You know what I'm saying? Like I was anti that, but now I'm like, oh my gosh, 4 years of education. And if only I would have listened to my mentors, earlier on, what could have happened? But all that to say, I think that if each and every one of you, I'll challenge you guys to start, put this on a little sticky pad, put it above your workstation. Next time you face an obstacle or a challenge, read that out loud. Hey, you know what? I'm going to make the decision to move past this obstacle today or this challenge today because I know the impact it could have long term.
No, I love that. And I think a good analogy too is you playing baseball, right? Like my son's playing baseball right now, right? He's in the thick of it, right? He's out there competing. We just did a showcase camp yesterday, where they take your metrics, and he hit like his exit velocity, I think, was like 84. And I know he's topped out at like 80 miles an hour, like with pitching and stuff like that.
Nice.
But dude, there's kids there that are just there. I mean, they're as big as you are right now, right? They're like 6 something, 200 plus pounds. I mean, one of the kids on his team who was actually at the showcase yesterday, he hit a line shot, home run, 104 mile per hour EV. He'll probably end up getting drafted. I mean, he's just a huge freaking kid. But Dylan could allow that to discourage him or go, hey, that's what's possible, right? Dylan's not nearly as big as that kid, right? I mean, it's just the kid's a man child, right? So the point is, in business, a lot like sports, as you get to higher levels, everybody's got talent, right? Everybody's got skills, but it's what are you going to do every day to show up differently, to improve upon what you're already decent at. So it's like you said, some of these people have been in 5 or 6 years. Well, if you think about the first 5 or 6 years you played baseball, you weren't making any money, but you fell in love with the game. You fell in love with the process, right? I would imagine you practiced a lot more than other guys on your team when you were playing amateur ball, right? When you were playing, when you were 12U, or when you were getting into travel ball, right? And you were playing, at a high level in high school. Like, as far as I made it as far as community college. I was a catcher, played, community college. I was travel baseball before that. We were, one of the best teams like on the East Coast when I was like 16, 17. But there was kids that, dude, they had more of a passion for the game than I did. I had a passion for partying, hanging out with my friends, doing stupid things, getting in trouble. They had a passion for the game. And I remember specifically Mark Teixeira, Josh Banks, Gavin Floyd, all these guys, they were on the same team as I was, different teams, not the same, because obviously there's different teams over the years, but there were periods of time where I was on the same team as these guys. All of them went to the pros. I didn't. What was the difference? Sure, they might have had more natural talent and abilities, but they loved the game. They fell in love with the game. They worked their face off to get good at that game, right? You got to look at this business like a game. The company you're with, and I know we got people on here from all these different companies, but at the end of the day, you said it's not about you, and it's not about your company. It's not about your product. It's about you serving other people. How can you make an impact? How can you make a difference? And believe me when I tell you, there will be adversity. There will be challenges. That is inevitable. That is inevitable. It's how you deal with those challenges. What are you going to do about it? You're going to wig out? You're going to overreact? You're going to throw your hands up in the air and go, I'm done. This isn't for me. Or are you going to say, okay, what's the solution? How can we figure this out together? Because, my one of my old upline would always say, mo money, mo problems, right? The bigger the problem, the bigger the paycheck. So just understand that every level requires another level of commitment, another level of sacrifice, another level of leadership, new levels, new devils. It's just, you're going to have challenges along the way, but I love that. And it's how are you going to move past it? How are you going to deal with it? How are you going to reach out for support, mentorship? And I believe, Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe you've got a little something, right? You got a resource for people to help them out. Because I think it is important for people to have the coaching, the training, to be reading, to be learning. That's how I became good at this. This is how, anybody gets good at anything, right? They become a student of the game, if you will, right? So maybe you could touch on that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to go back to the baseball story just because I think it's funny and just put it into perspective. So I literally got pictures of myself 1 year old in my grandfather's front yard just smoking baseballs, right? So literally like 20, 21 years of playing ball, right, in my grandpa's front yard, to little league, to travel, to high school baseball, to travel baseball, JUCO, junior college, to 4-year university, to finally getting the opportunity to get drafted. And all that culmination, 21 years of hard work and failure after failure after failure, blood, sweat, tears, gas miles, and all the stuff I put my parents through. You know what my first check, John, when I got drafted, my monthly check, I got to share this just because it's funny. I got drafted. I'm now a professional ball player in the minor leagues. Guess what I was making? Right. Any guesses?
No idea.
I was making $600 a month.
Woohoo!
You want to talk about the big cheese, man. 21 years of hard work and sacrifice, man. It was crazy. But all that to say, I mean, you're exactly right. Everything, I'm just looking at the comments over here. People are going nuts. They love everything we're sharing, and people even saying they need to find a solution, what have you. I'm all about the word impact. And I know a lot of you who are watching are building a business online, and hopefully the acronym is going to really maybe give you the encouragement or inspiration to move past whatever challenges you are facing. Because here's what I know for sure, John, everybody on here probably wants to make some money, right? How many of you want to make some money? Just put a $sign over in the comments. You want to make money. And like the title of this says, it says money follows impact, right? And so, impact has been a word on our radar for several years. And here's what I have found out through our last 13 plus years is that so many people who are working their businesses online today are getting caught up in just being busy. You mentioned earlier, technology is running rampant. People are over on this platform. They're trying this, they're trying that. They're just spread way too thin. They're doing the busy work. John, you ever heard of people just like, just scrolling the news feed? Their first thing they do is check emails, and they do all the work that really is not moving their business forward. They're just being busy. When you ask them, hey, what'd you do to work on your business today? They're like, oh man, I worked my business for 4 hours today, John. And you're like, oh, cool. What'd you do? And they're like, well, how many times did you show the products? How many times did you show the plan? And then the real numbers come out, and they're like, well, I actually didn't get to that part, right? So
right.
they were doing
They
the
were
busy
preparing.
work, not being productive. Well, this was me early on in our career. And after 4.5 years, I was like, enough of just being busy, not listening to other folks. I need to plug in and figure out what I'm doing wrong. At that time, I literally birthed this 3-step simple formula of how to be productive versus just being busy. And that's when I literally just a few months ago, I know everybody's been stuck at home and maybe not be able to go places. I'm like, why am I keeping this formula to myself all these years? Why don't I put this in a simple booklet form and share this with the world? Entrepreneurs all over the world, why don't I share this simple formula? John, this my new book, literally my first published book, by the way, so I'm super fired up about it. It's a booklet, so it's literally 33 pages. You could read it in about 25 minutes. And I feel that the simple productivity formula that I share in here is just going to absolutely transform people's lives. And actually, I'm doing something cool right now. Maybe you can touch on it too. But I'm giving away the first 1,000 copies. I'm giving away for free. You guys just pay shipping. If you're in the U.S., $7.95. If you're international, $8.95. And want to get this into your hands, man, because I'm sick and tired of seeing entrepreneurs, with big hopes, big goals, big dreams, but they don't understand what it's going to take to actually get there, right? They can't just be busy scrolling the newsfeed, checking emails. They got to learn how to be productive. I know you guys excel at being productive.
Yeah, I mean, it's paramount. There's no way you can have success in a business like this or any business if you're not consistently focused on money-making activities. We came up with this FAME formula where, a 1 hour power hour with 4 15-minute segments or sessions, if you will, where you're focusing on follow-up, you're focusing on ATM prospecting, marketing, video, posts, whatever, and then expanding your network. And if you could just spend 15 minutes on those money-making activity every day. Now, of course, you could put more than an hour in, but I find that a lot of people, man, it's like they sit down, and you said it, they start scrolling the news feed. They're not really sure what to focus on. And those are the 4, in my opinion, those are the 4 most important things: following up with your customers, following up with your prospects, fence sitters, following up with teammates, whatever you can do to help people. For 15 minutes, you just plow through all your follow-ups. Especially your fence sitters, especially people that you're still working on getting them to buy the product, getting them to join the team. And I think it's a really big deal to prospect every single day. I think this is something that, a lot of people, they procrastinate rejection, right? They're procrastinating from having to deal with getting rejected because it's inevitable. Like, I get turned down every day, right? That's a part of doing a business like this. And it's a deep fear for a lot of people. Like, they don't want to even ask someone to take a look, even though they might say yes, but they're so afraid they might say no, which is hilarious because a lot of my best people, at one point, they did say no to me. Or let's just say they didn't say no, but they didn't say yes, right? We talked about the business, timing wasn't right. But then months later, years later, that's the same person that at one point wasn't interested. Now it's like Eric Worre says, it's high noon. The timing's better for them. And now they're reaching out to me. Because I didn't burn the bridge. I didn't beg them. I didn't try to cram it down their throat and be like, come on, what's wrong with you? You don't want to make money, loser. And then I think it's really important that every day we do a video, a piece of content, something to get attention. And then, of course, expanding your network. I mean, how many of us, and I did a video earlier today, and I'm like, how many of us have a warm market that sucks? I know my early years in network marketing, part of the reason I didn't earn profits, just like you, Brian, my warm market sucked. Like, I wasn't good at this. My warm market wasn't open to it, right? So I had to rely on cold market. And even though cold market was brutal, by me getting good at talking to strangers and doing presentations and talking to anybody, whether they're older, younger, someone that looked way more successful than I did, I just got to a point where, my skin was so thick, I just stopped caring. It's like, I always say that, you don't want to be a people pleaser, but at the same time, I think it's good to care about what people think, in the sense that, like, we want them to understand we're a professional, that we have a vested interest in their success. Like, we want them to understand that, like, we are a good person and we have good intention, right? We want what's best for them. But at the same time, we don't care to the extent of, like, if you don't like what I do, it's not going to stop me or slow me down. It's not going to discourage me. And that's really what it means to not care. Because of course we care, right? The best leaders in network marketing, they absolutely care about their network. They care about their team. They care about their customers. They care about their downline, their upline, their sideline. They care about the company. Of course, we're very caring people, but we don't care if someone says no. It's not going to stop us. And that's where you have to get to a point where you are so certain of this, that this is for you, that you can do this, that you can be successful, and you kick out all those limiting beliefs, you eliminate your fear, and you get to a point of where you realize that fear is just false evidence appearing real. If you've been in network marketing more than like 5 minutes, you've heard false evidence appearing real. And I just think it's important for us to understand we're looking for people that are looking for us. There's people on their knees every night begging for an opportunity, praying to God, please give me something. And even if they've got a nice house, a nice car, that doesn't matter. If someone makes a lot of money, but they hate what they do, they're open, dude. They are open. And we prejudge some of the best people in our life because you're just assuming they wouldn't be interested. You're prejudging them. You're saying they don't seem motivated, or they seem too successful, right? They don't seem like they would do something like this. They don't really have a social media account. They're not a professional. They're not a man, or they're not a woman, or I don't really know that person that well. You prejudge people because you're so worried about being rejected. You're so worried about being denied, turned down. You're worried about what other people think about you. And I think that's one of the hardest things about being a network marketer. I kind of mentioned that in the beginning. That was the hardest thing for me, Brian. I don't know about you, but in those early years, it was tough when some of my closest friends and family, not only did they say, no way, I'm not doing that pyramid thing, but they were like, you shouldn't either. And I'm like, oh, maybe you're right. But then I'm like, what else am I going to do? I don't want to do what they do. And they're all broke. So thank God I didn't take their advice. Anyway, I'll get off my high horse.
Amen, dude. Just speaking about the warm market, cold market real quick. The only person that said yes to me in my warm market was my dad. He actually told me no, but I took his credit card. I snuck it out of his wallet anyways and signed him up. So he literally had a garage full of wine-looking juice bottles.
Nice.
You guys know what I mean? Like, he never drank them, never did anything. But that was the only warm market I had. I realized real quick that I had better opportunity, better luck to go out there and talk to someone who did not yet know me. Why? Because they didn't know me. They didn't know my past. They didn't know how successful I was or how successful I wasn't, right? And I had a new opportunity every single day to meet someone new for the first time and make a brand new first impression. So for those of you who are just on the topic of the warm market, cold market, your warm market said no, just do one of these. Whew, thank goodness. Now I can get out into the cold market, right? And really start developing some flipping skills.
Yeah, no doubt. And also, man, I really love this playbook. I think this is awesome. I know you always put together great resources to help people. So congrats on your first book. Very, very cool. And I don't know, maybe you did mention it. I wasn't sure, but what's the website if they wanted to get their hands on this?
Yeah, so Your Impact Playbook, you guys can go to coachfryer.com/YIP, Your Impact Playbook, coachfryer.com/YIP. Again, you can grab one, or if you've got a team, there's an opportunity to grab 50. Those are the two options. Again, the booklet is free. The first 1,000 copies, just pay shipping, $7.95 US, $8.95 international. And it'll be there, I think, within 7 days. People are, we released it about 2 weeks ago. People are already getting it, going nuts. My social media is going crazy.
I love it. That's awesome. And I tell you what, here's what we'll do. We'll give away 3 of those playbooks. All right. I don't know if you want to give away some, Brian, but we'll give away 3 of your playbooks to those of you that are sharing the broadcast. If you're sharing, tagging teammates, We'll give you 24 hours. That way some of the replay viewers can get in on this. Share the broadcast, tag teammates. We'll do a raffle. We'll pick 3 of you to send you one of Brian's new playbooks.
Let me add something. We're gonna add. I'd love to sign a few copies and send it to those 3 folks. Personalize it. 3 signed copies. Can I add that in there for you?
Yeah, I love it. That's perfect.
Done. Awesome. You guys just let me know who the 3 folks that you guys choose are. Let me know, and I'll get them their signed copies out tomorrow.
Definitely. I love it, man. I love that you're making an impact on the profession. You see what I did there? But you're always doing what's that, Nadia? Can they download the book?
Yes. So yes. Here's an additional bonus. You'll see this. So when you order your free booklet, the tangible booklet, once you order this, immediately you'll get an email with the PDF downloadable version. So you could literally read it via PDF immediately and then get your hard copy in a couple days.
Oh, that's perfect. So there you go, y'all. You'll be able to get, if you order the booklet, you can also get the PDF version right away, start digesting that information. So I see we're getting a ton of shares. I see everybody's tagging people. And again, guys, it doesn't matter which network marketing company you're in. If you're in the profession, if you're in direct sales, this is something you want to get your hands on for sure. Make sure you follow Brian Fryer, a.k.a. Coach Fryer, and he's always delivering the goods. So Brian, I appreciate you, brother. Always appreciate having you on the show. And I know everybody got a ton of value from it. And the website? Yeah. It's coachfryer.com
/YIP.
/YIP.
Yep, absolutely. Well, big shout out to you guys, John.
Comments, so. Okay, cool. Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, coachfryer.com /YIP. All right. Appreciate you, Brian. Everybody make it a great day. And if you got on late, make sure you go back and watch it from the beginning on the replay. And we'll talk to you all next time. Peace out.